First one I owned was a 2007 SV6 Holden Commodore Ute, and I ran it through a red light and rode it off.
First car I ever drove was probably a dirt car that I drove at Marulan Driver Training Centre. That's probably the first thing I ever drove. That was a lot of fun that day out on the dirt track.
So I can answer this question in two parts. So the first car I ever bought was a 1981 DeLorean. Still own it. It's it's just parked away at the moment. But I couldn't drive that until it was over 30 years old, being a left-hand drive. So the actual first car that I learnt my license on and got my P's with was a 1963 VW Beetle, dressed up as Herbie. So a bit of a race livery there. So
a Gemini. Is this not going on the recording, is it?
Yeah, no.
Oh, good. Okay. Just edit that.
Yeah, perfectly.
On the road, been an EF Falcon, Grandpa spec.
First car I ever owned, or first car I bought, was a RX8 FC, a white one for $2.5 grand. The first car I ever owned was a Subaru Forester, and it was a bucket. Absolute bucket. I had the thing on 2 wheels more than I had it on 4.
It was a Mark 1 Escort.
Tell us about it.
It was just a bit of a shitbox, 1300cc, little Mark 1, poo brown. That's what I got my L's on. And then as soon as I got my P's, I jumped into a Mazda RX2.
This is shameful, but Renault 12.
Very first car I owned was a Mazda 1200, which back in 1969.
First car I technically owned, I got an LC GTR Shell when I was 14. And what's that, 6, 7, 8, 9 years later, we haven't quite finished it, but we're getting there.
A Valiant, but don't tell anybody. Oops, I think we just did.
Oh, Jesus, they're on the back. First car I ever owned was a 87 model Magna, TN model Magna. The elite, top of the line it was, digital dash and everything, so first time.
My first ever car I drove was a Mazda 3 SP, so an old grandma car, but you know, getting from A to B, that's the idea, so I loved it.
My first car was a 2007 Mitsubishi Lancer. Learnt to drive manual in that, and I've always loved it, but it's soon been moved on.